Hello everyone, it's finally here, and on today's video I want to talk to you about how you can manage your goals or projects like a pro. I'm not a pro, but like a pro, you can just manage your projects like a pro. I want to introduce you to a 12-week year plan method that can help you achieve your goals sooner rather than having to wait for the next quarter or the next month or even the following year for you to even kickstart your New Year's resolutions. So you could be asking yourself, what is the 12-week year plan? So to put this very simply, you get to treat a set of 12 consecutive weeks as a year, where each week serves as a month, right? So each week will have its own objectives, right? And you get to define what you need to achieve, on a week-to-week basis in order for you to get to the overarching goal that you want to get to at the end of the 12-week period. So the reason why we do this is so that we can be a little bit more focused and intentional with the way in which we use our time. And I think having a 12-week cycle is a really great way of doing that. So the question is, how can you apply this? So you can simply pick 2 to 3 goals, ideally 2 goals that you want to achieve at the end of the 12-week period. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves here, so just pick 2 to 3 goals, ideally 2, that you want to achieve at the end of the 12-week mark. This could be a goal that is related to your fitness, finances, or even business, right? You want to pick your battles wisely here though. Don't take something that's going to be over the top. Once you have defined your goals, you want to break down your goals into manageable sizes, right? So you want to set out, or you want to define what you want to achieve for each particular week leading up to the 12-week mark. And the reason why we do this is so that we can have a very clear roadmap on what we need to do, along our journey, so that we don't get derailed or we ill-define what we need to do. So we want to really have a clear, defined roadmap. And I think defining what you need to do for each particular week is a really good way of doing this. So as an example, right, let's say you've never ran a day in your life. However, you wish to run 12 kilometers on one go without stopping. So you can, define a simple goal by saying you want to run 1 kilometer for the first 2 weeks, 3 times a week. Right, so that means that you will have to run a total of 6 kilometers at the end of the 2-week period. And I think once you get into the motion of this, you can, define what you need to do for the following weeks leading up to the 12-week mark. And you can up the intensity so that you can align yourself with your end goal. So the last part, which I think is probably the most important part, is tracking. So you can use a pen and paper to just define what you want to achieve, at the end of the 12-week period. You can use your calendar, to set a reminder for yourselves on, the daily action items that you need to manage. I personally use Notion to define my weekly goals and my daily action items. And at the end of each week, I get to, review myself and see how far I've come with my weekly goals. I think this method can seem very basic and simple. And I mean, that's the whole idea behind it. We want to really simplify our journey towards our goals. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves and inundate ourselves with things that are not necessary. So I think with this method, it offers us an opportunity to really define what we want and to be a lot more intentional with the way in which we utilize our resources and time. If you found this video useful, do consider liking it and do consider subscribing to the channel. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.